Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we'll hear from the city of Phoenix on a lawsuit filed against the FAA over flight path changes out of Sky Harbor. And we'll have a discussion on the state of corporate giving in Arizona. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. New census numbers released today show that Arizona has the third lowest per pupil education spending in the nation. Arizona spent just over $7,200 per pupil in 2013. Only Utah and Idaho spent less, with the national average at $10,700. The city of Phoenix announced late yesterday that it's filing suit against the Federal Aviation Administration over changes in flight paths over Sky Harbor. The city claims that the changes have caused, quote, extreme discomfort for residents in neighborhoods to the west of the airport. Joining us now is Chad Makowski, Assistant Aviation Director at Phoenix Sky Harbor. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Why is exactly the city filing suit against the FAA?
Well, back in September of 2014, the FAA implemented some new flight paths around Sky Harbor and the communities around the airport there. And in doing so, the paths were changed so dramatically that the community reacted very severely to that. What we discovered is that the community was not consulted with in any way prior to the implementation of those changes. We've worked very hard with the FAA over the last 8+ months to try to come to some resolution, but we've come to the place where we realize that really there isn't going to be much more that can be done here amicably, so we need to take that next step.
Why did the FAA change those flight paths?
So this is really part of the Next Gen initiative. It's really a national initiative where the FAA is looking to advance the process with flight paths around the United States. And really, if you think about it, for decades, planes have been flying on land-based navigational aids using that type of technology. They are now advancing to satellite-based technology, which is much more efficient. The United States has the busiest air traffic system in the world, and so it's time to advance that using the latest in technology, and that's what the FAA is doing.
But how does the latest in technology mean instead of going this way and that, I now go this way and that?
So part of this really is it's using satellite-based technology. So if you think about it, if you're using land-based technology like freeways, sometimes you have to go out of your way to get to your destination. Well, in the air, the idea is you should be able to shortcut to get to your destination, take more of a straight line path. That all translates to efficiency and improving the capacity of the airspace.
FAA claims it improves safety as well. Is that valid?
So it is valid. So there are some aspects to NextGen which absolutely do improve safety of the airspace. When you have a situation where planes can fly by satellite-based technology with minimal interaction with an air traffic controller, that leads to less opportunities for errors. Previously, air traffic controllers had to very much direct every bit of the move of an airplane as it went from point A to point B. Now with the satellite-based, computer-based technology, a lot less of that is required, and that translates to improved safety.
And airlines claim that it saves fuel.
It does. It does. In fact, when you look at, again, the straight line path from one destination to another, that can in fact save money, and it does save emissions, and so that is really their point there.
So let's talk about how the flight paths have actually changed with neighborhoods, streets, those things in mind. Where did they used to go? And we're talking takeoffs here for the most part, correct?
Yes, we are talking takeoffs. They did modify arrivals and takeoffs as a part of this process, but we're seeing really the most significant reaction in the community with the takeoffs.
Right, because those are louder. And
absolutely.
So where did they used to go, and where are they going now?
Well, to the west of the airport, which is where the predominant concern is, airplanes used to fly primarily along the river bottom, the Salt River bottom, and in industrial areas to the west of the airport. There were some residential areas as well, but predominantly in, industrial areas until they got to an altitude of 6,000 to 8,000 feet above ground. And at that point, they made their churn over more populated areas. Now what's happening is almost immediately after takeoff from the airport, they're making churns going over populated areas, and that is what's caused the concern in the community.
And that is because satellite-based technology says this is more efficient, this is an easier way to go?
It is something that the FAA and the airlines, when they were looking at this process, did feel would absolutely save It would improve safety and it would improve the efficiency and capacity of the airspace. Yes.
The lawsuit says extreme discomfort. People can't sleep at night. They can't go about their daily activities, I think is how it was worded. Talk to us about this. Give us an example. And where is this going on?
Yeah, so this is where we've really seen the impact are on 2 corridors to the west of the airport. Now, we've received complaints throughout the valley about these changes, so I want to make sure that that point is made as well. But the most dramatic impact that we've seen is just west of the airport. There is one path that goes along the Grand Avenue corridor now, and so we have many historic neighborhoods immediately adjacent to Grand Avenue in downtown Phoenix who are feeling these impacts. And then there's another path that goes to the Southwest Valley where the planes immediately churn to the south-southwest and go over South Phoenix residents and into Levine.
Interesting. All right, so the mayor says that the FAA proposed no meaningful changes. No meaningful changes. What has the conversation been like? Have they proposed any changes?
So they have proposed some changes, and we've had a number of interactions. As you may recall, former Congressman Ed Pastor was very, very helpful to the city, and he joined us as we embarked on a working group process with the airlines and the FAA. And then we again just re-engaged the airlines and the FAA for one last chance here recently, and we've talked to them about the changes we think need to be made, and they've offered some solutions. We just don't think they're enough.
As far as your solutions, what changes do you think should be made?
So what we think is, based on our modeling, we need to continue to keep these planes over largely industrial areas in the river bottom until they get to an altitude where they don't interfere with speech, quality of life, people who are sleeping and what have you, before they make those churns over those communities. And we made several proposals along those lines to the west of the airport to the FAA and the airlines.
How does the FAA respond?
The FAA said, hey, we appreciate the proposals, but we can't quite get where you want us to go. And so they did offer some alternatives recently. Their alternatives, for example, on Grand Avenue suggested that the move would be 1/3 of a mile, which is about 1,700 feet either way of where it is today. That just isn't enough to really make a material change in our view to the communities who are so severely impacted.
I know there was an attempt to talk directly to the airlines. The city was doing that as well. What became of that?
So we did engage at the executive level, the airlines with our 2 predominant carriers here, Southwest Airlines and U.S. Airways, which is now the New American. And we also engaged the airline industry, which is Airlines for America. And we had a heartfelt conversation. The mayor and our council and Congressman Pastor were both very helpful in that dialogue with the airlines. At that meeting, they did agree to meet with us, have our technical teams get together. We did reassemble our technical teams, but we still weren't able to get where we needed to be.
So it's the airlines and the FAA, when they see this, obviously you've talked, they know what's going on here. They see the rooftops, they understand all this. What did they say, too bad? I mean, do they not again, I can understand efficiency to a certain degree, but the efficiency over here, you could move it down there.
Right, and we've made those arguments. I think the airlines and the FAA have said a couple of things. One is they feel if they move the paths too far, it could actually disrupt other paths, like arrival paths and whatnot. Well, we've done some analysis where we don't believe that's the case. But the airlines, I think, also realize that if they make significant changes here in Phoenix, there are a lot of changes going on throughout the nation at many, many cities, and so they're worried that the effects or the precedent that might be set here in Phoenix could be translated to other areas of the...
I was going to ask you, we're hearing a lot about Phoenix, obviously, but is Phoenix where it's the worst? Are there other areas that are even worse?
So there are a number of other cities in the U.S. where this new technology is being implemented, and we've heard from those communities. In fact, we are one of the steps that we're working with our council and our congressional delegation on is developing a coalition of cities who all have been impacted or are about to be impacted by these types of changes. Hey, we respect and appreciate the value of next-gen and moving to a safer technology, but it can't come at the expense of the communities that are underneath these flight paths.
So can you give us some, real quickly, any areas in particular that seem to be having an especially hard time with this?
So I know I've heard in Boston, I've heard LA, I've heard we've had some up in the Bay Area, San Jose, San Francisco. A lot of those airports have talked to us. We've talked to Denver, we've talked to Minneapolis, and I know that there are many to come. Dallas, for example, just recently had this happen at their area, and so we've had communities come to us and say, hey, let's talk about this. Maybe we can make some change congressionally, if nothing else.
So what's next in all this? What happens?
So we are going through what's called a petition for judicial review, and that process in and of itself is quite lengthy. It could take 18 to 24 months for this process to unfold, which is why we really waited to the very end before we took this step, but we think it's time to do that. What we have done is we filed a petition with the Federal Appeals Court in the D.C. Circuit. What will happen then is we will have the FAA go ahead and file their case. We will respond to their case. It goes back and forth a couple more times. We have oral argument, I would expect, and then the court will take some time to review it and come to a decision. So we're expecting potentially 18 to 24 months before we get any news.
Yeah, it sounds like a couple of years at best. Well, it's good to have you here. Wanted to get kind of a clarification of what's going on, especially with the city filing suit. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
In tonight's edition of Arizona Giving and Leading, we take a look at the state of corporate giving in Arizona. Our guests, Elisa De La Vara, Senior Director of Community Initiatives for the Arizona Community Foundation, Deborah Bateman, Vice Chairman, of the National Bank of Arizona, and Todd Cooley, Corporate Development Officer at the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Good to have you all here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
What is the state of corporate giving in Arizona?
Well, I think after going through a pretty rough economic time, we're starting to see an uptick, at least in corporate giving. I think that it's trying to get back to the same levels that it was before our economic downturn. So we're seeing some progress. Some progress.
Some
yes.
progress there. That economic situation, how did that impact corporate giving?
You know what, it did impact a lot. We actually divested in some other areas such as marketing and advertising, and we're able to maintain our giving through that particular period because that was part of our value set to be able to continue to support our community.
So with that in mind, what did you see before the economic downturn? What have you seen since the economic downturn, and are things starting to pick up?
They are. We are seeing a lot of activity with our corporate partners. We've been blessed. We have so many corporate partners that continue to be wonderful donors and partners of ours before the economic downturn, after the economic downturn. And I think Deborah is correct. They find ways to be able to continue to support the community. But in terms of the needs, what we did see is that with that recession the way it was, if there was any blip on any one of our families or individuals in the course of their day, if they had a flat tire, that brought, because they were so close to the wire economically, you know, they were living paycheck to paycheck, that put them back into our lines again, and it's so difficult for them to get out of those lines when they have those hardships in their day-to-day. So we're very fortunate that most of our partners have continued to be wonderful partners and continued to give to us even in hard times.
Let's talk about the methods of giving. I know sponsorships are out there, volunteerism, direct donations, these sorts of things. What are you seeing as far as, again, corporate giving is concerned?
Well, you know, one of the things that's wonderful about the Arizona Community Foundation is that when we have a corporation that's interested in doing this, we sit down with the corporation and talk about what their wishes are, how they want to do this, because there's a number of ways that you can give, whether it's through a corporate donor advised fund, a field of interest fund, or just a corporate sponsorship, so where we're just doing the back office for the corporation. There are thousands of ways in which a corporation could give. So we try to sit with the corporation, make sure that we can provide consultation as appropriate, and customize what the corporation wants and develop the program that's going to work for them. We have all of the tools, all of the efficiencies, all of the procedures in place in terms of getting the grants out there once we know what the corporation wants to do.
And does the corporation always know what it wants to do?
You know what? I hope so. I hope so. And a lot of times that may be at the top and pushed down. But in the best cases, I really believe it's a grassroots effort and really filled up. I think that is, I mean, with us being an Arizona corporation extending to the Arizona boundaries, we're very specific in knowing that we want to help Arizona not-for-profits that are supporting Arizona families. So it's, I mean, and that gives us a wide span to absolutely concentrate in.
And as far as dealing again with corporations, do they come to you and say, we want to help, tell us, or we want to help, here's how?
Both. Both. Very oftentimes, if it's pushed down from the ideals of the CEO level, oftentimes they'll tell us we want to be involved in anything that's got to do with children or technology, or we want something that's human services, or they'll be more specific, or they might say we want to help, we want to be a partner, we don't know how. And typically what I like to do is the best I possibly can is match those philanthropic goals and objectives with what we have to offer them in terms of their volunteering, but also to make sure that they have a rewarding experience of being a charitable partner of ours.
Right.
And typically when the corporation doesn't have a strong footprint here, it's just one of their affiliate offices here or a branch office here, we can connect them to nonprofits that are out there doing the type of work that they're interested in funding. So we have, through our grant making, connections with almost all of the nonprofits that are here in the state of Arizona, and because we are statewide, we can work through our affiliate offices in helping them reach their goals.
As far as benefits for business, obviously being visibly involved in the community, that's a benefit for the business as well. Talk again about even a benefit for the workers and how they would become not only involved in the community, but maybe better involved in the business.
Well, I think employees that want to give back or that are philanthropic or have that open heart are going to be attracted to corporations or companies that feel the same way. So I think it's aligning values that really makes it win. So I think that when a corporation can provide those opportunities, whether it's for volunteering, directing donations, getting involved from a partnership standpoint and working with the not-for-profit in different ways, then I think that creates a win-win and a ripple effect in the community.
Interesting. As far, and again, dealing with, on the other side, the receiving end, if there's product donation involved, if there's an in-kind donation involved, and let's say, I mean, does it always work out for the best in those situations, or can there be challenges?
There can be challenges, but we're very, very resourceful. And first of all, our mission is to feed, clothe, house, and heal. And we're very resourceful with everything that we receive, whether it's monetary or whether it's an in-kind donation. You know, it's very interesting. We'll take a pair of tennis shoes or we'll take 10,000 pair of tennis shoes. We find something to do with whatever it is that people have donated to us. I can't imagine that anything that you could possibly think of that we wouldn't somehow find a need for the people that we serve.
And we've talked a little bit about donor-guided and donor-advised contributions. Again, there can be some challenges there, can't there?
Absolutely, there can be challenges in everything you do, but I think with a good conversation, with a good understanding, with the types of background that our professional staff bring to a corporation, I think those kinds of issues can be ironed out. It's really about working with what the mission of that organization, that corporation, that business wants to do, matching it up and making sure that we have the right resources, that we have the right back office for their interest.
And at National Bank of Arizona, how does all this get done? Is it top down? Is it someone who just gets all excited about one particular?
You know what? It is so much a part of our DNA and a part of who we are. And because the way we do business is based on relationships, the way we deal with the not-for-profits is also very much based on relationships. So it's really exactly what you're saying, sitting down, understanding what their needs. And yes, there's times that we write checks, but there's also times that we provide in kind, volunteer, or even some of our own intellectual property to support in a system. Each place is unique, but it's about relationships and it's about partnerships.
And when you deal with a corporation, you have specific needs, I'm sure. Certain time, you always want a turkey around Thanksgiving. You want canned goods. Certain time. Do you feel comfortable asking for specific things, or does it become more of, as Deborah mentioned, a relationship sort of thing?
It's a relationship. But what I like to do is really offer what is the best alignment with that corporation. All of the cans of corn in the world aren't going to pay our electric bill. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. Mm-hmm. Nonetheless, we need all the cans of corn that we can get. So, you know, I really like to sell almost a three-pronged approach that A, we need some money monetary support. You know, we have to pay the electric bill. B, we love any kind of drive, whether it's a food drive, a water drive, a backpack drive, a diaper drive, a toiletry drive, and certainly volunteers. There are 200 of us employees, but 10,000 volunteers. The volunteers are our labor force.
Yes, indeed. And again, dealing now with big corporations, small businesses, the differences.
Well, it really depends on what the corporation's wishes are. I mean, if you're going to be very, very razor focused, I mean, that kind of presents some challenges in terms of finding that specific entity that they want to fund. But when the focus is on the areas of philanthropy that are in our pillars, you know, it makes it a lot more convenient and aligned with the corporate goals that are out there. We have all kinds. We have from the Arizona Republic, Cox Communication, National Bank of Arizona, and we have we did the Super Bowl this year, so we've been challenged in a variety of levels. So,
Does National Bank of Arizona ever do a challenge to other corporations? Say, here's what we're doing, why aren't you doing this?
You know what, we are absolutely, that is on our agenda for this year. Actually, rather than challenge, I'd like to say partnership. You know, let's do a match, let's do something, but let's be a catalyst to pull the community together and get more people involved in giving or helping these not-for-profits that help and support our community.
We find those competitions the most successful anytime, whether it's internally inside of a corporation or our partnership corporations, anytime that we see a competition among those particular corporations, we see the end result skyrocket.
Yeah.
So we love those
Yeah.
partnerships
Absolutely.
or competitions, whatever you want to call them.
People are people.
They
Hey,
are.
good to have you all here, and
Thank
good
you.
continued success and good fortune.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wednesday on Arizona Horizon, we'll hear from those in support of a new Grand Canyon Watershed National Monument, and we'll have an update of the new ASU Mayo Clinic Medical School. That's on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Virginia G. Piper Charitable Trust. Committed to changing lives and strengthening community through investments in nonprofits and strategic initiatives. More information at pipertrust.org.